I need to tell someone about this. Not because I think it'll help. Nothing's going to help at this point. But because people need to know what that place really is. What happens when the lights go out. My son turned 7 3 weeks ago. Was going to turn 7. Is 7 now. I don't know how to talk about this yet. He'd been begging me for months to take him to Melody's Diner. You've probably seen the commercials if you're in the Midwest. It's one of those family entertainment places with singing robots and pizza that tastes like cardboard soaked in grease. But kids lose their minds over it. They've got these 3 animatronic characters: Melody the mouse, Jasper the jazz cat, Benny the bear, and some kind of bird thing whose name I can't remember. They perform these musical numbers every hour, walk around the dining area and pose for photos, the whole 9 yards. I'd been putting it off because those places are expensive and loud, and honestly, the robots always creeped me out a little. But it was his birthday, and I'd been working overtime, missing soccer games, and I just wanted to see him smile like that. You know that smile kids do, when they're so excited they can't even keep their mouth closed. That one. So, I surprised him after school. Didn't even tell his mother I was taking him. We're divorced, it's complicated. I just picked him up and said we were going somewhere special. The look on his face when we pulled into the parking lot made everything worth it. Worth all of it, I thought then. We got there around 5 p.m. on a Thursday. I figured it wouldn't be too crowded on a weeknight. I was wrong. The place was packed with screaming children running between tables, while parents stared at their phones like they were hostages. The noise was incredible. Kids shrieking, arcade games beeping, that birthday song they play on loop, and underneath it all, this constant mechanical whirring from the animatronics. My son, I'm not using his name here, I just can't. He was vibrating with excitement. Kept pulling my hand towards the stage where Melody and the gang were mid-performance. Some song about friendship and pizza. Melody's mouth movements didn't quite sync with the words. I remember noticing that. Her jaw would snap shut a half-second too late, like she was chewing the lyrics. We ordered pizza and sat close to the stage. Too close, in retrospect. I could see the joints in their arms and necks. The way their eyes didn't track smoothly, but jumped from position to position. Jasper the cat had this grin that showed too many teeth. More than a cat should have, even a cartoon one. But my son was enchanted, so I smiled and clapped when the song ended, and tried not to look at Jasper too much. The thing about Melody's Diner is they encourage you to stay. The longer you're there, the more tokens you buy for the arcade, and the more overpriced soda you consume. They have this system where every hour a different animatronic wakes up and does a solo performance, so kids always want to wait for their favourite. My son wanted to see Benny the Bear's special show at 8:30. So, we stayed. Played some arcade games, ate terrible pizza, and took pictures with Melody. When you get close to them, really close to them, you can smell machine oil and something else. Something sweet and rotten underneath, like fruit gone bad in a hot car. Or maybe I'm adding that detail now. Memory does funny things. The place started clearing out at around 8. Parents dragging exhausted, sugar-crashed kids towards the exit. By 8:30, there were maybe 3 other families left. The staff started giving us looks. Not hostile, just tired. Ready to go home. To be honest, I think I'd go insane having to listen to this day in, day out. So I don't blame them. Benny did his performance. Some routine about hibernation and dreams. His voice had this slight reverb to it, like he was singing from inside a tunnel. My son loved it though. "Okay, buddy, we should head out," I said when it finished. "I need to pee first." Of course, kids and their timing. "All right, let's make it quick." The bathrooms were in the back, past the kitchens and party rooms. Quieter back there. Most of the overhead lights were already off, just emergency lighting along the baseboards. Our footsteps echoed. The men's room was empty. Just us and the sound of a dripping faucet that needed new washers. I waited outside his stall, checking my phone, scrolling through nothing. Then I heard him struggling with the lock. "Dad, it's stuck." I tried to walk him through it from outside. "Pull it to the left and then push down." "I am, it won't move." I tried the door. He was right. The lock was jammed somehow, the little mechanism completely seized. I could see his sneakers under the door, shifting anxiously. "It's okay, buddy, we'll figure it out. Try pulling really hard." We went back and forth for a while. Me giving instructions, him getting increasingly worried. I considered going to find staff, but I didn't want to leave him locked in there, upset. So I tried to force the door, which was incredibly stupid, because those bathroom stalls are built to withstand nuclear war, apparently. Eventually, I found a paperclip in my pocket and managed to trip the lock mechanism through the gap. Took maybe 15-20 minutes in total. When he finally got out, his eyes were wet, but he hadn't cried. Brave kid. "Sorry, Dad." "Not your fault, bud. Let's get out of here." We walked back towards the main dining area, and that's when I noticed it was dark. Not dim, dark. Only those emergency lights running along the floor, throwing everything into sharp shadows. The arcade games were off, their screens dead and reflective. The stage was dark. And the front doors, I could see them across the empty dining room. They were closed. The metal security gates were pulled down and locked. "Hello?" I called out. My voice sounded strange in that place, flatter than it should have been. "Hey, is anyone here?" No one answered me. I walked to the front doors and pulled, locked solid. I pulled out my phone. No signal, not one bar. The building must have been built like a bunker or lined with something. I even tried sending a text, hoping it would go through eventually. The little spinning wheel just spun. "Are we trapped?" my son asked. He was trying to sound brave, but his hand found mine and gripped tight. "Just for the moment, bud. Someone will realize the mistake. We'll wait right here by the door so they see us when they come back." That was the plan. Sit tight and just wait it out. Maybe an hour or two at most. I found some booth seats near the entrance with a sightline to the parking lot. Pulled out my phone and turned on a mobile game for him, even though it was eating battery. Had to keep him calm. Had to keep both of us calm. The first hour was fine. Boring, but fine. I made up a story about how this would be a funny memory someday, an adventure. He seemed to buy it, or at least pretended to. But then, Melody started moving. Not performing, just moving. I heard the whir of servos from the stage, and her head turned. Slowly, smoothly, sweeping across the dining room. The eyes didn't glow or anything dramatic like that. They just moved, tracking something I couldn't see. "Did you see that?" my son whispered. "Don't worry, bud, it's probably automated. They must run maintenance cycles or something." I don't think I believed that, even as I said it. Jasper moved next. He stood up from his keyboard, his joints clicking, and took 2 steps forward. Then he stopped. His head tilted down, like he was looking at the floor, looking for something. My son pressed against my side. "I don't like this, Dad." "It's okay, they're just machines." Benny the bear raised his arm, held it up like he was waving. But there was no one to wave at except us, and we were too far away, half hidden in our booth. His arm stayed up for a long time, maybe 30 seconds. Then it lowered, jerked really, back to his side. I told myself it was programmed behaviour. Random movements to keep the servos from locking up overnight. But they didn't feel random. They felt exploratory, like something learning how to move. The bird, I remembered her name then, Penny the parakeet. She was the worst. She didn't move much, but her eyes did. Constant tiny adjustments, scanning and scanning some more. And once, I swear to God, she looked directly at our booth, and her beak opened and closed. No sound, just that snapping motion. "Dad, I want to leave." "I know, buddy, me too, soon." Time did something strange after that. I checked my phone and 5 minutes had passed. Then check again and it felt like an hour, but only 2 minutes had gone by. The emergency lights made everything look wrong. I heard footsteps. Not ours, coming from somewhere in the back. Heavy and dragging slightly. The sound that Benny would make if he walked, his big bare feet scraping the tile. "Stay here," I whispered. "Don't leave me. I'm just going to look. I'll stay where you can see me." I moved towards the sound, past the stage. The animatronics were all in their positions again, frozen mid-performance. But Benny's foot, his left foot, was 3 inches forward from where it had been. I was sure of it. The footsteps came from the hallway leading to the party rooms. I stopped at the entrance, peering into darkness barely touched by the emergency lights. Something moved at the far end. Something big, swaying. I backed away and returned to my son. "Just the building settling. Old buildings make noise," I lied. He didn't argue, but his eyes said he knew I was lying. Around what my phone claimed was 2 a.m, Melody came off the stage. I didn't see her climb down. I was watching my son. He'd finally dozed off against my shoulder. And when I looked up, she was just there, standing between the arcade machines and the dining area, swaying slightly, like she was caught in a breeze that didn't exist. Her head turned towards us. That same smooth rotation, too smooth. Nothing moving the way a head on a neck should move. And she took a step, then another, coming towards us. I shook my son awake. "We need to move." "What? Why?" He saw Melody and went rigid. We slid out of the booth, trying not to make a sound. Melody's walk was wrong. Her legs moved, but her torso stayed too level, gliding. Her arms swung in perfect rhythm, like a metronome. When she passed under one of the emergency lights, I saw her eyes were reflecting, shining back flat and silver. We managed to find an emergency exit. I slammed against the crash bar. Nothing. I hit it again, harder. The bar depressed. I heard the mechanism click, but the door didn't budge. Something was blocking it from outside, or the lock was damaged, or Melody was 15 feet away. 10. Her mouth opened, and I heard music. The birthday song, but played backwards. The melody inverted into something that hurt to hear. "The party rooms," I said. "Come on." We ran. My son was crying now, not bothering to hide it. and I was pulling him along maybe too roughly. But Melody was behind us, and the music was getting louder, and I could hear other sounds mixing with it. Jasper's jazz riff, Benny's hibernation song, all layered and reversed and wrong. The party rooms had doors with locks. We got into one, slammed it, and jammed the lock up. I pushed a table against it while my son hugged himself in the corner. The music stopped. Silence, complete and total. Then, a knock at the door. Not something smashing the door, it was very soft. Melody's voice, tinny through the speaker in her chest.
Are you having fun? At Melody's Diner, the fun never ends.
Another knock. Pause. Another. This went on for an hour. Knocking. Cheerful pre-recorded phrases. Sometimes Jasper's voice would mix in, doing his jazz scat routine. Sometimes Benny, talking about friendship. My son had his hands over his ears, his eyes squeezed shut. I held him and stared at that door and thought about how solid it was, how the lock looked sturdy, how we just had to wait for morning. The knocking stopped around 4 a.m. according to my phone, which was down to 12% battery. I didn't trust the silence. We stayed where we were, listening. I could hear my own heartbeat, my son's breathing, nothing else. Then, from the ceiling, a grinding sound, metal on metal. The air vent. I looked up just as the grate fell, clattering to the floor. The vent opening was small, maybe 2 feet square. Too small for the animatronics, but not for their parts. A hand emerged. Just a hand, with its wrist trailing torn wires and fingers flexing. It groped at the air, found the edge of the vent, and pulled. An arm followed. Then, a head. Penny's head, detached from her body, her eyes rolling independently. Its beak opening and closing in that horrible, soundless rhythm. My son screamed. I grabbed him and we ran from the room, back into the main dining area. Didn't matter anymore where we went, anywhere but there. The stage was empty now. All of them were gone. We heard them everywhere. Footsteps from the kitchen, scraping from the bathrooms. That mechanical whirring growing louder, coming from all directions. And voices all around us.
Where are you? We want to play. Are you having fun?
I found another door, some kind of storage closet. We wedged ourselves inside among mops and cleaning supplies. The chemical smell was overwhelming, but better than being out there, exposed. My son was shaking. I was shaking. We didn't speak. We just held each other in the dark. Something walked past the door. Heavy footsteps. It stopped right outside. I could see its shadow in the gap at the bottom. Too tall to be Melody. It had to be Benny. The shadow stood there for 5 minutes. 10. And then moved on. We stayed in that closet until my phone died. Then we stayed longer, in complete darkness, listening. I must have dozed off at some point, because I woke to my son tugging my arm. "Dad," he whispered. "Dad, I have to pee again." "Just hold it, buddy, please." "I can't. I really can't." Christ, what do you do? He was 7. I couldn't expect him to just sit in his own piss, as terrified as he was. I'd seen a mop bucket in the corner when we first came in. visible in the phone lights before it died. Okay. There's a bucket right over there. I'm going to move very slowly and find it. Stay exactly where you are. I shifted in the darkness, hands out, feeling for it. After what felt like an age, I found the bucket and started to bring it back to him. That's when he opened the door. I don't know why. Panic maybe. Kid logic. He was scared and wanted out, and he just opened it. The dining area was dim with pre-dawn light filtering through the windows. Empty. No animatronics visible. It looked safe. "It's okay," he said. "They're gone. I can just go to the real bathroom really quick." "No, don't." But he was already moving, quick like kids do, across the dining room towards the hallway. I lunged after him, got 2 steps, and then Jasper emerged from behind the arcade machines. But he wasn't walking. He was crawling, on all 4s like an actual cat, its joints bending wrong and head low. His grin impossibly wide in the weak light. My son saw him and froze. He just stopped in the middle of the floor. "Run!" I screamed. "Run to me!" Jasper lunged. Fast. Too fast. My son bolted towards the bathroom instead of towards me. The wrong direction, but he was panicking. And I ran after him, but Jasper was faster and I was screaming and... The bathroom door slammed shut. I reached it seconds later. Locked. I pounded on it. "Open the door! Let me in!" Silence. Then, from inside, music. The birthday song. Normal this time, not reversed. I could hear my son crying under it. I threw my whole body against that door. Again and again. My shoulder went numb, maybe dislocated, but the door didn't move. "Please," I was saying. To who? To what? I don't know. "Please, he's just a kid. Please." The music stopped. The lock clicked. The door swung open. The bathroom was empty. 3 stalls, all standing open. Sink running. No sign of my son. No sign of Jasper. I searched every inch of that room. Under the stalls, in them, around the sinks. Called his name until my voice gave out. He was just gone. I don't remember much after that. I think I searched the whole building. The animatronics were nowhere to be found after that. I think I was still searching when the morning manager opened up at 9 a.m. and found me. They called the police. I tried to explain. The officers were polite, but clearly thought I was hysterical or worse. They searched the building. No animatronics were found out of position. All of them on stage, exactly where they should be. No sign of forced entry, and no sign of my son. The manager showed them the security footage. The cameras had been off due to a system malfunction. Convenient. They questioned me for hours. I told them the truth, and I could see in their eyes they'd thought I'd done something to him. That I'd lost a custody dispute, took my son somewhere and made up this story. They haven't arrested me yet, but they're watching, waiting. His mother won't speak to me. I drove past Melody's diner last week. It's still open. I sat in the parking lot and watched families going in, kids excited, parents exhausted. I wanted to run inside and warn them, tell them to leave, but what would I say? That their animatronics come alive at night and take children? they'd call the police. Again. But I looked through the window during one of the hourly performances, and I swear, I know how this sounds, but I swear one of the voices singing was different. Higher. Newer. A child's voice mixed into Benny the Bear's hibernation song. My son used to sing that song. He memorized it after one visit. I'm telling you this because I don't know what else to do. Maybe you'll believe me, but maybe you won't. Just, if you have kids, if they beg to go to places like that, please, just don't stay until closing. And if you ever get locked in somewhere overnight, if you hear machinery moving when it shouldn't, if you see something that's supposed to be animatronic looking back at you, don't let your kids out of your sight, not even for a second. I learned that far too late.